Come on now, don't fail me now. Let's switch over to the computer. Okay, awesome. All right, guys, welcome. Okay, welcome to Airbnb training, startup training with Stanja. I'm your host. Oh, look a little lights here. There we go. That's a little better. All right. So let's get going. Let's get going. All right. So, guys, thanks for joining. Let's share the screen. And if you are new here, welcome to my YouTube page. Let's subscribe if you want to get some more training on YouTube, My Passive Moms, how you could get that bag up. Right? So let's get going. And let's see here. These glasses ain't going. 30. Hopefully I can see. Let's share the screen. Let's see if I'm also streaming on YouTube. Okay. I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. You guys enjoy this. I know you're going to enjoy it. All right. So I'm just checking if I'm actually live here on YouTube. I don't see that I'm live. Let's be double sure here. Looks like I'm live, but I was optimize for video sharing. No. We are going to get started anyway. Okay. And this thing just wants to keep going. Great. We don't want you to do that. All right, guys. So Airbnb Startup Trading with me, Stanja Fleetwood. I'm your host, and welcome to the Soft Life CEO Academy. I'm the founder of Soft Life CEO. Guys, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a former New York City school teacher, worked 16 years in education, and walked away after 10 years of 3 hours to and fro traffic, just thick traffic in New York. Really should have been a 45-minute commute, but it just was obscene, the traffic. And I got burnt out. That is not what I signed up for. It's like the story of everyone's life, right? When you are getting into the workforce and you experience all these hiccups, that kind of, it's a churn, just kind of makes you not want to be involved in that business anymore or your job. So why Airbnb thrives? Well, I shifted and I got into Airbnb when I walked away from teaching. And the reason it thrives, guys, is because in 2025, the demand for short-term rentals, it remains really strong in cities like New York, Miami. In New York, you can earn up to like $4,200 a month, ensuring a very lucrative opportunity. And when I say $4,200, this would be outside of all of your overhead costs. This would be the revenue you make at the end of the month, okay? So passive income is not just a dream, it is actually a reality. And for many Airbnb hosts, when you embrace this growth market, you see a huge difference in your lifestyle. The income can help from groceries to your real estate ventures, your growth development, because now you're involved in real estate. The people you meet, the community you build in your area where you're hosting in Airbnb. Now you are a key factor in that community. You bring revenue to that city. So you become an expert of such. Your guests will ask you for different sites that they could view, your opinion on beaches they should go to. Your opinion matters here, and you have value, and it is very life-changing for you at Airbnb. And then when you're ready to take a vacation, you can always take a vacation right there at your property. How about that? And that saves money for you on family vacations, right? Something to think about. women are leading in Airbnb. All right. So this is a great space for housewives, a great space for stay at home moms. Um, you can definitely thrive here in this space. So since 2019, women have significantly increased their presence on Airbnb as hosts. Um, it allows them freedom, whether it's the soccer games, for me, track meets. For Kira, it was equestrian practice, and then it was her swim meets. I had that flexibility. I was present for my kids. I was present. Okay. And you also have ownership in your entrepreneurial journey. This is a great place to start your entrepreneurial journey. No, you don't have to go get an LLC. No, you don't have to run out and go get payroll. You could literally just, as I did, jump right in, and later all of those things will come into play. All right. Just get started. Just get started. Just get started. You belong in this number 2. Empower yourself and take charge of your financial future through the Airbnb movement. If you live in a city like Florida, a state like Florida, and you're thinking, well, it's oversaturated. It is not oversaturated. That is not true. You have to look at your niche. Who are you targeting? And you're like, I could actually target a particular group in Airbnb. Yes, and we'll talk about that shortly. We will talk about that. Whether you're presenting a whole space, an experience, or a room, you are targeting a particular niche, a group of people that you can solve a problem for them. All right. And those will be the group that you attract. So therefore, you will have success if you're very careful in your research. And write this down. AirDNA is a great resource. We'll talk about resources, but jot that down while I'm in my head. AirDNA is a great resource for looking at that. All right. So let's continue. There are many ways to start. And that's, people always ask me, Stanch, how did you get started? I'll tell you my story. I got started in 2017, the Intracoastal Yacht Club in Miami. I started with that property. That's how I started. I was staying there, and I don't want to get too much into it, but because that property manager is no longer there, but I did get approval to do the Airbnb. And we made a lot of money in that property. We really did. About 29,500. That's just gross. It's like 30,000. So that was my way of starting. You can literally start with where you vacation. Take the address once you get it, and then plug it into Airbnb and see what pops up, how many little bings will pop up. If you see a lot of bings and then you go granular and you see it's from one building, something's happening there. You want to do research and find out what's happening. Is it legal? Will the property manager allow it? You'll take those next steps. Okay, and I have letters and things like that I use just as a model of how I reach out and communicate. I really don't send emails when I'm moving forward in this way. I really like to get people on the phone. But if you do have to send emails, I do have those property manager letters for you. Okay, and how you present the offer of hosting, subletting in that space. So that's how I got started. And you can too, just simply traveling or going back and looking at your Airbnb or wherever you travel to, and see, is it lucrative in that area? Where you stayed. If it's a high rise, how many other people in that building are doing it? That part. I also asked the gentleman who hosted me. He was Israeli, cool guy, met up with me, gave me everything to get started. How crazy is that? I also had a friend who paid for a webinar, and then she sent it to me, downloaded and sent it to me for free. You could probably do this. And that's also how I got started. So these are just some of the resources that are right there at your fingertips that you don't even realize. Okay. So use a space in your current home. Right now, there's something called rooms. If you run over to Airbnb and look for rooms, pretend like you want to use a room. So pretend you want to go to Miami and you're looking for a room. There are people offering just a room in their space, okay? And so with rooms, I took some screenshots here. I could show you guys, but let me tell you a little bit about rooms and what that has to offer. Oh, man. Well, why host a room? Spare rooms can do far more than collect dust. And if you have a space that's doing that, then you can make some money off that space. The benefits of listing your space include the following. You could obviously earn money. In 2022, room hosts made over $2.9 billion. Okay, $2.9 billion. That's a lot of money, guys, worldwide. And the median earnings were up more than 20% from 2021. So there is space for you to make money featuring a room. You connect with people, you share your home, your interests, your culture, your local insights. If you're a friendly person, if you love to cook, you do have to share. They have to qualify as a room, they must have a door that closes. They must have access to a bathroom space. And it would have to be either the bathroom or the kitchen or some common area that they would have access to. There must be, I believe, one common area. So you could determine if that's going to be the bathroom. I would rather not do that. I would rather have it be the kitchen, maybe a living room, a den, or a deck, something of that sort if you're in a warm area. And you have to be someone who's willing to see that person, if you work or if you have a separate door, that's not really a room. That would be a separate space, but in a shared space. It's shared space, but you have a private entrance, and it'll say that if you ever look at Airbnb. Do you want a shared space, a room, or private? Private, shared, or room. Now, even with the shared, it could have a private entrance. But with a room, there really isn't much privacy other than when they go in their room. Okay. Using spaces you already have, your spare room could provide providing guests with a comfortable place to sleep without incurring a lot of cost for you or for them. All right. So you're really acting as a B&B. You can Airbnb your home while you travel. So on the calendar, you can feature your home on certain dates and block out others. So you don't have to worry about that. You can stage your home. You can put things in boxes and just have a packing day, box everything up, put it in the attic, put a lock on it. You have a basement. You can lock the door going down to the basement. There's no access to that basement. Don't feature pictures of your basement. You'll feature pictures of the areas that they will have access to. You will clean up certain things, so it looks, it's lived in, right? Because you're going to state that it's our home. You're welcome to it. I can even give you some write-ups, some sample suggestions of how you can do your description, your write-up, so that you are very careful about that. Because if you present your property as one thing and then they get there and it's another thing, you could have a problem with your guest and they will complain to Airbnb, probably want their money back. Okay. So you want to be careful about that. You can lease an Airbnb approved apartment. I've done that. There's pros and cons with that. Normally, if it's Airbnb approved, there is a percentage that building will receive for hosting, okay, for allowing you to host. So if you want information on that, we can talk about that more. I also have a resource guide for that where I just break down what to expect, okay? Scout vacation spots. I told you that I scout vacation spots that you've already been on, or just go to AirDNA, and plug in an address, and then look what's happening. They'll tell you all of the specs, what the cost is per night for that particular unit that you have or you're looking into, or you'll see what other people are doing, whether they have duplexes, whether they have single families, whether there are high rises in that area you're looking for, and what people are charging. They'll tell you all of the things you need to know so that you can be competitive within that market. Use Google Lens for reverse image searches on great listings. So if you take a picture of a listing and you're like, Sandra, I took a screenshot of a listing on Airbnb, now what? You could go to AirDNA, you're like, Sandra, I don't want to pay for the pro. You could still get information with the free plan, but if you want, you could take that picture and then do a reverse search in Google Lens, and they'll tell you the name of the property. So, obviously Airbnb is not going to tell you the name of someone's building, like my building, high rise, has a name, but we don't provide that until you book. But if you were to take a picture of anyone's property, you could do a reverse search and then you'll know the name of the property. Okay. So that's called reverse search. This is no gatekeeping here, guys. These are real strategies. And listen, as I post this, whether I post it to YouTube, if it is live, I don't know if it is, or whether in the academy, any questions you have, drop it in there and I'll answer. I love to just questions. I don't think I'm live on YouTube. That sucks, pond water, because I thought I was. Embrace flexibility and creativity. And you have to step out of your comfort zone with Airbnb. I have many people like Sandra, I don't have the funds right now to go get an apartment, do the down payment, or buy a home to Airbnb and not know if it's even compliant in that township, right? Or in that city. So you start with your own home, like start with a room. You could do that. You could do that. You can even offer experiences, but I didn't do that. Go to Airbnb and put experiences. If you're an artist, if you teach yoga, if you teach Pilates, if you're a cyclist, if you are a surfer, if you're certified in anything, you can provide an experience for people that come into your city. How about that, right? Many ways to make money, passive income with Airbnb. Just get out there and try. That's my best advice. Get out there and try. You will need some essential tools. There's so many tools, but I'll just tell you a few. AirDNA, as I mentioned, right? You want to succeed in your Airbnb hosting, so you got to utilize the right tools, and that's super crucial. They can enhance your efficiency. They can enhance your guest experience. They streamline everything, and it helps you to stand out amongst your competitors. Write down price labs. That is great for streamlining everything. That is an outside source. You do have to pay. I have price labs. I pay monthly. Best thing ever. They look at the market rate and they do it. They adjust my rates automatically based on what they see in the market, based upon what they see with other people in that area, whether it's a duplex, whether it's a high rise, whether it's a low rise. Air price labs will do that. Okay. You also have a lot of tools within Airbnb. There are many tools there. So within those tools, you can select what would work best for you. For example, pricing, setting up your property. They'll give you a list of your essential get started items to get your apartment or your property air guest ready. There's Google Lens for reverse image lookup. Told you about that. There's Thumbtack. You can create a property manager profile. But you could create that in your area. So like I have my property in Miami, but I can't go ahead and create a property manager listing on Thumbtack for Miami. So what I'm doing now is actually working with my co-host who lives in Florida to see if I could get her to do it, and I'll pay for her pro account. But in your city, in your area, you can go on Thumbtack. You will have to pay for the pro account. I tried it in New York, wasn't really feeling it because I don't do Airbnb here. So many restrictions, right? And I don't like that for my guests or for myself. I don't like that unpredictability. I want my guests to be in a very safe, serene, comfortable environment where it's legal that I'm doing Airbnb. So that's important. So, but try Thumbtack. It's a great tool, but you have to get the pro account, okay? And you have to set it up as a property manager. Once you get someone who's interested, they have a property that they need to rent out. That's where it's called Airbnb arbitrage, and you can do this with a number of properties, just renting them out. Many people think real estate is just owning. Real estate, guys, is also Airbnb arbitrage. The ability to have properties, you could have 30, 40, 50 properties, and you're just creating, you're a property manager, subleasing or co-leasing, however you want to say it, but you've made that arrangement with the owner of the property. And you can go into a contract for like 3-5 years with the rent being a fixed amount. I mean, it's an incredible way to start. Furnish Finder for midterm rental options. That's another, that's something else you could do. We'll talk about that for those who want to go more in depth. This is just really more so an overview. But these tools, again, the tools are right there in Airbnb. More experienced hosts like myself, I've been doing this since 2017. I am now using the price labs. You want to jot that down. I now use the AirDNA. But when I got started, there was no AirDNA. So there's really no excuse. I did everything myself. I just used Airbnb. I used a it was a webinar just like this, and every tip they gave, I just did it. That's all it is. It's the action, right? But all the tools you need to start, I started with what was on Airbnb. Do not pay for anything additional yet if you're getting started. You have everything you need within Airbnb. And if you select to do mentorship with me, and we can have a private conversation with that, what that looks like, I will provide you everything. If you want the property set up, I do that as well. Let's move on. I love Airbnb. I mean, it has its moments when I want to scream and I tell my husband, I'm quitting. But like 93% of the time, it's just fun. Why this all matters, guys, passive income through Airbnb, it just offers such great financial freedom. It offers time freedom. It's like, what is that thing called? Like, oh my gosh, what is it called? Like, I can't remember. But think of it this way. You're down and out from work. I personally just had surgery, right? Elective surgery, nothing traumatizing. And while I was resting, I'm still getting ding, ding, dings. They text you when you get an Airbnb, and I'll show you. I'm not even gonna lie. And it's always a 215. Yeah, it's a 215? 205. Here we go. So these are all of my, let's see if this is clean. I should clean that, but I don't have my little cleaner. These are Sunday, we got a booking, Thursday inquiry. Andrew requested to stay on last Wednesday. That was like 674. Remy requested to stay. They locked September 11th in through the 19th, you could see. And what's that, like 1,000? See that? $1,146. My whole September calendar is already booked up. I know that's crazy, but it's not crazy. People are looking for places to stay. Our job is to solve a problem. And what I like, think about this. If you are a realtor, I know Andrea is, I know April's a realtor, you have to go seek or use your database to get your listings. If you are in mobile notary, same thing, we own mobile notary, you have to go and get your own inquiries. I use Google, I know how to post. If you are in sales, you have to go find your own clients. Watch this. With Airbnb, the platform does it for you. So like on school, they don't do that for me. They don't go and say, hey, this is Stanja. So if you're looking for Airbnb, go in her community. No, think about being on a platform that's pushing you. They're pushing your content forward. So the best photos, the best tagline, the heading, the best description, the super host, the reviews, these people will be listed higher in a different hierarchy, right? And so Airbnb are pushing these hosts to get bookings. All you got to do is set it up, stage it, and post it. I'll never forget it. 2017 September, nervous. Yeah, I watched the video. I stayed in the property, so I knew where the pool was. I knew where the gym was, the award-winning gym. I knew where all the things were. We also had a grocery store in there. We had ballet. That place was sick. Okay, 1 block from Collins Avenue. So I knew all the things because I was a guest. So when I launched, I remembered I took like 5 days and I make phone calls for everything in advance before I even schedule my flight. So I set everything up, when the electricity will be on, the phone, Wi-Fi, all those things, furniture deliveries. I've done this numerous times. It always works out while I'm there. I've never had to extend a flight yet. So I do all those things, then I set my flight. And I give a few days, like a day or two, just in case any hiccups, right? And I make sure it's always between a Sunday to a Friday. You need work days. They work best for deliveries. But I remember when I bought everything, staged it. I went through my little list that Airbnb suggested, as well as the webinar. And then there was that big moment that I had to hit launch. I was terrified. I was leaving 2 days later after launching. No, the next day I was leaving. I had launched. Guys, I got a booking, an inquiry that night. He was from Thailand. His girlfriend was coming in from Thailand. She was going to be doing something in Miami. He needed her to be there for 30 days. Now, here's another thing. I don't let anyone stay in any of my properties longer than 20. I think I do 20, 25 days, no more than that. because after that, there's squatter laws in many cities where people can end up squatting in your property. You can't get them out. So you don't want that. That even happens in real estate. So I normally do not allow longer for 30 days. Also, my properties are normally high rises and they're luxurious, they're fabulous. You're not going to want to leave. I created that. It's a gift and a curse. I create an environment for my guests where I want them to just feel so incredibly comfortable and such a luxe environment that I want them to stay, but I don't want them to stay forever. So I don't allow bookings longer than, I think, 20. One guest can only stay like 20 or 23 days, the longest. Something to think about. So the benefits, passive income through Airbnb. Why this matters: you make money while you rest. My husband calls it, money you make while you're sleeping. You gain control over your own time. As I told you, I am present. I was able to rest after having elective surgery. Maybe you have a main job and you lose your job. This is backup money that will pay that mortgage, pay that rent, pay those bills, get those groceries. So now you just have to find another job, part-time or whatever, but you still have income coming in. That's passive. Build a portfolio, build a portable, flexible business. This is a very flexible business. If I have Wi-Fi, I'm running my business no matter where I am, the beach, my house, my friend's house, on vacation, I'm present. And this is my first time having a co-host, because as you grow, you want to help others come on board, help them learn the business, help someone else make money. And it helps you so that now you could focus on bigger projects. You're the big dog now. Focus on bigger projects, focus on marketing. For me, I'm really working on Price Labs, and Price Labs is super nerdy, and I'm low-key a nerd because it's breaking down so many diagnostics of how they're coming up with your daily rate in comparison, with the market rate. It's a whole market analysis. So I'm spending more time there, right? I'm spending time on where else I could feature my properties. I'm spending time on how to obtain more properties. And then my co-host, she's there helping with the guest check-ins. She's doing the greetings, all the things. And honestly, there are quick replies for all of that set up in Airbnb. Okay. Empower yourself and others. Said that, right? Start small, grow smart. I started really small. Again, you could start with a room. I know Andrea said she's a camper. So if you have a camper, something cool like that in the back of your house, that sucker would be Airbnb if it was me. Good night. I would even try it just for like a weekend. Every weekend on the calendar, I would open it up from like Thursday to Monday and just see where it goes. And then to see how much others are charging, I would just go to AirDNA, use the free account. I would put in campers in Savannah, Georgia, campers in, I don't know, Houston, Texas, and see what comes up. Or you could just go to Airbnb and do a reverse search. Become a traveler, select traveler, and put in, that's what you want. Pretend that you are looking for you. So if it's a camper, if it's a mobile home, I know someone, she told me she's going to do it. She has a she shed in the back of her house. Her she shed is off the hook. I have some rich friends. And she's about to take her she shed and Airbnb it. This is insane. There's so many ways that you can make this happen and start stacking your money so that those monies you make, you can either buy a property, if you will, or you can start doing the arbitrage where you're renting. So you need your first month. If you have great credit, then you're just going to need we pay just the rent and a deposit, one deposit. So if you have good credit. I'm getting tired. All right. So where are we? Okay. So guys, join the movement. Join the Airbnb movement of women across the globe. Get the freedom, the flexibility, and start living like in a different way. I'm also in the Miami Airbnb community, and that's on Facebook. I'm also in the big community where I love asking questions. I love reading questions. That's a global group. So I see what's happening in England. Got this guy over in Switzerland. I love seeing what people are doing. People will say, rate my property, and you get to rate other people's property because they're looking for that before we come in as a guest and just tear up in their review their property. But yeah, it's a good space. If you're ready to build your soft life, if you're in the Soft Life CEO Academy, great. You're good. Your access to the training is free. There will be a replay. The replay will be charged. If you're here, you got it. If you go back to the replay, there will be a fee. All classes are less than 30. I don't know what this will be, but It'll probably be on the higher end, like 27. Um, I did change it to a one-time. It's not one time, it's going to be annual. $99 will get you access to into the group and the trainings. Um, yeah. Anything, you guys, any questions you want to ask before I jump off? Andrew, you want to unmute? You want to ask any questions? No? Okay. All right. So I thought I ran this over to YouTube, but I didn't, guys. I apologize. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to get the replay in the academy. It is recording, so I could always just use the cloud recording, but I'm really praying to God. Oh, this was really supposed to be on YouTube also, but we'll see what happens. All right. Thank you guys for joining. My name is Sandra Fleetwood. And if you're looking for any type of mentorship with this, I do provide individual mentorship, and we can have that conversation as well. If you're in the academy, see you there. If you're not, you need to get in there or just slide me a DM on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. It's the real Soft Life CEO on every platform. All right. Bye, guys. Thanks for joining and have a super great day.